A man sits in prison awaiting his trial. It all starts with a trip.
They're a couple on vacation, taking the sights on this beautiful sunny island.
But the good times are suddenly forced to an abrupt end for the German tourists.
Drugs are brought in by a trafficker, usually from an international source. When they arrive in a community, whether it's large or small, a gang will form around that imported drug. Usually more than one gang forms, which creates violence, territorial fights, trying to get the market share for the drug trade. In those areas where that's occurring, it is no place to be at night or even in the daytime.
After spending their days sightseeing, they embrace the Miami nightlife, only for the evening to take a horrific turn. With nothing to do to fill the time but play chess and talk about life outside the cell, the game is on. It's December 1987. Dieter Reichman sits in his prison cell in the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Miami, Florida, while he waits to be put on trial. He's been here for over a month after being arrested on October 29th for the illegal purchasing of firearms.
He has a bill set to $150,000, which may not seem like much right now, but this was back in the 80s. It would amount to about $400,000 today.
With bail out of his budget, all Dieter can do is wait. He's confident his gun charges will be dropped and he can get home and leave this whole nightmare behind him.
A judge determines what bail is set at for an individual. There are many factors that the judge has to consider. One, likelihood of committing another offense, fleeing the area of jurisdiction. Is he a danger to himself by being involved in a crime with another gang or something like that? There's many reasons why they deny bail. In this particular case, because Dieter is from another continent, it's probably flight risk.
Although the days seem to blend together, it's not all bad. Dieter shares his cell with Walter Smykowski.
Walter has had just a little bit of extra time to get used to his accommodations, as he's been in prison for about a month.
Walter is tried in federal court and convicted of 17 counts of fraud. He is sentenced to 10 years in prison, which he begins on September 30th, 1987.
Stuck in a prison cell, there's very little to do to pass the time, and of course, no privacy. So two men sharing a cell together for a couple of months would get to know each other really well.
The prison they reside in is located in Miami, Florida. But the crimes that Dieter is being accused of committing have taken place just a short drive away in Miami Beach. In many ways, Miami Beach looks just like another beautiful vacation destination. Today, tourism has filled the city with life. It plays host to all kinds of festivals and showcases to give everyone even more reason to visit. Even outside of these short-term events, the city is home to enough exciting attractions to have reasons to stay year-round. Street food to fine dining, shopping in the day to the wild parties at night. To top it off, it is completely surrounded by water. Miami Beach is a small island city with the Atlantic Ocean across one side and Biscayne Bay across the other. Beach is right in its name for a reason.
While the sunny weather and the gorgeous beaches have remained consistent throughout the years, back in the 80s it had a very different reputation. It earned the title of America's murder capital.
Imported drugs make gangs. Gangs fight over territory. Multiple gangs form to sell multiple people drugs. When that happens in an area, it is no place to be at night.
Even today, with its title gone, Miami Beach crime rates are nearly double the national median for the rest of the United States. Dieter and Walter take to playing chess to pass the time. While they play, they talk about their lives, or at least what their lives were before this time of sharing a cell with one another.
In the police world, we believe that prisons sometimes are the training ground for criminals. They go there to meet other criminals and talk about their past and their glory days on the street. And in this particular case, obviously, Dieter is talking to his fellow prisoners about the great life they had. And while he's not gone to trial yet, he can't wait to get back on the street.
Chess is a great game for keeping your mind sharp. It's all about strategizing, outmaneuvering your opponent, and predicting how people will act in different situations.
As the cellmates have gotten closer, Walter has become even more inquisitive about the subject of how Dieter has wound up in this position. He asks him questions about the night that led to him being here. Dieter and his girlfriend Kersten Kischnick arrive in Miami Beach on October 2nd, 1986. They have plans to remain here on vacation for the rest of the month, leaving on October 31st. Dieter uses his Diners Club card to rent a car when they arrive in the city. Using his card automatically gives them insurance that pays out double indemnity in any cases of accidental death of a passenger while inside the car. Walter makes the first move, and Dieter is quick to counter. The stakes are low, and Walter isn't much of a challenge.
When they're on vacation, one of their favorite activities is to go to the gun range.
Dieter already owns 2 guns here in the city. After purchasing them on a previous visit, he left them with an attorney so that they are safe when he next returns. But just the 2 guns must not have been enough, because Dieter buys a 3rd gun when Kersten sees one in a magazine that she really likes. The whole vacation flies by, and soon it is their final week in Miami Beach. On the evening of October 25th, the couple go out to a Brazilian cocktail bar for dinner.
During their meal, the two realize that they've yet to take a picture with the Welcome to Miami Beach sign. Suddenly, this seems really urgent, like they have to find the sign right away.
They drive around the city, but end up lost before they can find the sign. Dieter has the idea to ask for directions, but it's late in the evening, and they don't see a lot of people on the street. Dieter spots a group of people standing on a street corner and slows down as he gets closer, but drives past them.
So Dieter finds himself in the company of these drug dealers where he wants to obviously encounter. They think he's driving slow and wishes to make a drug purchase, so they signal him. He makes a U-turn and comes back to them.
When Dieter pulls up next to them, men circle his car.
When he hears a loud noise, he hits the gas before he can even process what's happening. He just knows he needs to get away.
He speeds down the street before looking to Kersten. When he finally turns her way, he sees her face is covered in blood.
Kersten appears to be bleeding profusely from the side of her head. There's no version of this that's good. Dieter needs to find help as quickly as possible if there's any hope of saving her.
Dieter goes over this night more than once with Walter in their time as cellmates. He told the story to the police countless more times, even before arriving in prison. This is the night he lost his girlfriend, kicking off the murder investigation that led to his arrest. Dieter Reichmann sits in prison while he awaits his trial for federal gun charges that have been placed against him. Before his arrest, he was on vacation with his girlfriend Kersten Kischnick in Miami Beach, Florida. Toward the end of their trip, the couple goes out in search of the Welcome to Miami Beach sign to get a picture. They get lost and stop to ask for directions from a group of drug dealers. A gun is fired, and Dieter drives away, but not soon enough to keep Kersten from being shot. Dieter and Walter continue their chess match. Sometimes the men go deeper into their histories, far before Dieter came to Florida. Kersten Kischnick is originally from Hamburg, Germany, but very little is known about either her or Dieter prior to the two getting together by the mid-1970s. And even then, information is sparse. The couple make a life for themselves in Baden, Germany. They are known to be incredibly social and love hosting dinners for their friends. But their relationship isn't perfect. And in fact, around 1980, the couple tries out a separation for reasons unknown. But they do reconcile, and they find their way back to one another by 1983. Especially after getting back together, Dieter and Kersten love to travel.
They must love Florida because in 1986 alone, they visited twice.
The chess continues along talk of life before their cell. The game is very one-sided, as Walter can't seem to get past Dieter's defense. For Dieter, a huge benefit to Florida are the gun laws. He loves guns and wishes to collect them, but the laws in Germany prevent that from being possible. During his visits in 1986, he takes advantage of the more relaxed laws and buys 2 guns that he and Kersten can enjoy at the shooting range. Unfortunately, the same laws that prevent Dieter from collecting guns in Germany also prevent him from bringing them back home with him. This is what leads Dieter to find a local attorney who he can leave his new guns with until he next returns.
Since he's found this attorney who can hold on to his newly purchased guns, it's guaranteed that he's going to return.
The first match goes to Dieter, and as the two reset the board, Walter listens, and Dieter's unfortunate story continues. With that second trip of 1986 ending in November, the two next plan to return for their vacation in October 1987. This fateful trip leads to Dieter's arrest.
He clearly has plans in mind involving the city. It's why he keeps returning and why he stores his guns there. He claims to be looking for locations where he could open up a designer clothing store, but is that really his plan?
After Dieter sees that Kersten has been shot, he speeds down the street, desperate to find anyone who can help his girlfriend.
He finds a police officer on the sidewalk and pulls over, getting out of his car and screaming for help. This man with blood on his shirt is so frantic it's almost impossible to make out what he's saying.
The officer looks into Dieter's rental car and sees Kersten bleeding out from her head. They check her pulse, and she's alive, but she might not stay that way much longer.
When you encounter anyone that is injured, especially with a gunshot wound to the head in this particular case, there's three things you have to do. You have to watch for where this gun came from. You have to tend to the wounded to make sure that they're okay. And you've got to start thinking about evidence as to how this happened and who did it. So you don't have the luxury of 1, 2, 3. It's 3 in a package. Once you've assessed the scene and taken care of the priorities that you know you have to do, the next thing you do is call for immediate medical help.
It only takes 2 minutes before a medic is on the scene. But even 2 minutes are like an eternity when a life is on the line.
It is possible for a human being to survive a bullet wound to the head, but there are a few factors that affect how lethal the shot can be. The caliber of the bullet, the trajectory, and the range from which the person's shot. If a bullet manages to miss all the important structures in the brain and possibly go through and through, they have a much better chance of survival. If a bullet hits an important structure or has the opportunity to ricochet around inside the cranium, there's a bigger chance that the person is going to die.
Unfortunately, Kersten isn't quite so lucky, and hard as the medics try, she doesn't make it. A detective with the Miami Beach Police Department arrives soon after the medics and is filled in on the situation so far.
Kersten is killed by a bullet to the head. This has now become a murder and a crime scene. The car is seized, it's a rental car, and it's seized for evidence and will be examined by forensic specialists.
As the investigation begins, one of the officers has to deliver the heartbreaking news. Of course, the task of delivering that news is nowhere near as bad as hearing your girlfriend has died.
Dieter tells and retells the events of that night, thanks to the investigation into who is responsible for Kersten's death. It's a night he's had to relive through these tellings, and a night that is sure to stay with him well into the future. As their second match commences, Dieter notices Walter is taking a different approach. He has played Walter dozens of times by now, so this new strategy is a welcome challenge. Walter may be more of a chess player than Dieter realizes. Dieter Reichman has been put in a Florida prison while he waits for his impending trial for federal gun charges. He and his cellmate Walter pass the time with chess and stories. Dieter and his girlfriend Kirsten Kischnick had spent a month in Miami Beach. On one of their last nights in town, the two go out for dinner and drinks at a Brazilian cocktail lounge. They've had a great trip and are already discussing their next visit. After dinner, the two decide the one thing missing from this great trip is a photo to commemorate it. They leave the restaurant in search of the "Welcome to Miami Beach" sign to take a picture with it. But the vacation comes to an abrupt end when Kersten is shot and an investigation into her murder kicks off. as Dieter and Walter continue to play. Walter wants to know more about how Kersten's murder led to Dieter being arrested for illegal guns. One of the first steps for the detective on the scene is to get as much of the story from Dieter as they can. While the questioning is taking place, Dieter's hands are swabbed for gunshot residue.
There's a procedure where you can swab for contaminants on an individual's hands or clothing. That's not done just to prove guilt. That's also done to prove innocence. If you don't do that, you're sitting wondering, is this person a suspect or not? But by doing the swab, you can clear that person or put them into the list of suspects.
Dieter is asked to come to the police station to go over more questions.
Rather than being taken to somewhere comfortable to wait, he's brought to a holding cell. He's forced to wait there for about an hour before this mistake is discovered.
The detective apologized for how Dieter's been treated, but they can't let him go. It's important to get his version of events down before he leaves. Dieter tells the police all about what happened that night. How they got lost looking for the Welcome to Miami Beach sign and tried to find someone to ask for directions. He heard a loud noise, like an explosion, and fled the scene as fast as he could. The police record everything they can before finally driving Dieter back to his motel. When they arrive at the motel, Dieter is asked to change so that they may take his blood-stained clothes as evidence to be tested.
While the police are in the motel room, they discover all the guns and ammo he's purchased.
As the police search out the drug dealers who Dieter and Kersten met that night, Dieter remains heavily involved in the investigation. The next 4 days see him going for drives with detectives to identify the corner where the shooting took place. While Dieter is unsure, he does believe that the intersection of 63rd and Biscayne Boulevard appear familiar. Checking in on Dieter's story reveals why he's struggling to remember his location. According to a walker at the cocktail bar, the couple appeared to be drunk. While the search for these drug dealers goes on, Kersten's autopsy takes place.
The autopsy reveals that Kersten is killed by a .38 caliber bullet. Among the items confiscated from Dieter is a box of .38 caliber ammunition, which can be fired from 2 of his 3 weapons, a special Taurus revolver and an FIE .38 special Derringer. Gun testing at this time isn't what it is today, and they can't confirm that the bullet that killed Kersten was fired from either one of Dieter's guns. That said, they're not able to rule it out either.
When the police look into the sales records for these guns, they find he used a Florida license, which, as a German resident, he shouldn't even have. And not only that, the address on the license doesn't exist.
Looking deeper into these guns reveals that they have been purchased illegally. On October 29th, Dieter is brought back to the police station to once again explain the events leading to Kersten's murder.
The interview goes on for about 4 to 5 hours as investigators get every detail they can.
At the end of the interview, Dieter is arrested for the illegal purchase of his guns. Dieter has been awaiting his trial ever since. With no arrests yet made for the murder of his girlfriend, he is sent to prison for his possession of guns. His skill in chess shows how well he can plan moves ahead. But it is clear that this is a move he did not see coming. Dieter Reichmann waits in prison until he can be tried for the illegal purchasing of 3 guns. He passes the time here, reminiscing with his cellmate Walter over games of chess. He and his girlfriend Kersten Kischnick had spent a month in Miami Beach when on one of their last nights, Kersten is shot in the head by a drug dealer. Two Miami Beach detectives begin an investigation into Kersten's murder, which leads them to arrest Dieter on separate charges. After they discover 2 guns in his motel room that Dieter had purchased illegally. From the moment Dieter is arrested, he is no longer privy to any information regarding the investigation. While he's in prison, no arrests have been made for Kersten's murder. Amidst the rampant violence in 1980s Miami, the 2 detectives face a daunting challenge. Delving into the investigation, they tug at various threads, growing increasingly suspicious that Kersten's murder holds secrets Dieter has concealed. The next step for the Miami Beach police is to contact authorities in Germany to find anything they can on Dieter and Kersten. This involves getting access to criminal records, bank accounts, and even having German police question acquaintances of the couple. But the biggest news that comes out of Germany are the 5 life insurance policies that have been taken out on Kersten before the rental car insurance that Dieter added when arriving in the city. What's even more suspicious than having so many life insurance policies is that Dieter is the sole beneficiary for each one.
Counting the car insurance, these policies have been signed between 1978 and 1987, and in the case of an accident could be worth 1 million German marks.
As bishop takes pawn and knight takes bishop, Walter and Dieter seem locked in a balanced struggle. The chessboard has transformed into a battlefield. The German side of the investigation also reveals that Kersten is a sex worker, that Dieter appears to act as her pimp. While Dieter claims to work, multiple people say that Kersten seems to be Dieter's only source of income.
So Kersten appears to have wanted out of this drug business. Dieter realizes that she is the one making him the money. He's balancing in his head, how much is she making me? How much is she worth to me if she's killed?
The detectives in Miami Beach take a second look over the evidence around Kersten's murder.
Dieter's shirt has a large blood stain on it. If he's sitting to the left of Kersten in the driver's seat, as he says, when she was shot, there would be some sort of splatter and not a large area of blood.
The blood stains in the car itself create similar questions.
There's blood found on the blanket that's found folded up on the driver's seat, and no blood on the seat itself or the seat belt. It's possible that Dieter wasn't even in the vehicle when the shot was fired, and the blanket is meant to cover up the spot where Dieter should have been sitting.
The results of the gunpowder residue tests that were run on Dieter's hands may corroborate this theory. While not conclusive enough to say that Dieter definitely fired a gun, there is enough residue found on his hands to say they were in close proximity to a gun being fired. The investigation doesn't yield quite enough to say exactly how things occurred that night, but evidence does point to one major theory. At some point between leaving the cocktail bar and finding the police officer, Dieter may have stopped the car and gotten out. He moves around the vehicle to stand outside the open passenger side window. After pulling the trigger, he wipes some of her blood on his shirt and folds up the blanket that's covering the driver's seat. He speeds off to look for police, attributing the attack to gang violence. While telling all this to Walter, he seems very unfazed. It appears more like an inconvenient evening than the loss of a longtime partner. If the insurance policies are a sign of when Dieter may have been plotting something to happen to Kersten, this could all have been a plan nearly a decade in the making. He denies that Kersten is a sex worker whenever the topic comes up. But during this game with Walter, he not only admits to Kersten's profession, he laughs and says that she's worth more to him dead than alive. Suddenly, Walter takes the lead. Having played this game very defensively, now, like the flip of a switch, he attacks, knocking off Dieter's pieces left, right, and center. Dieter steps back, weighing all the options. Although Walter has surprised him, he knows his game. He has a strategy. And Dieter does not lose. Dieter Reichman has been sitting in prison since October 29, 1987. While he's been awaiting his trial for federal gun charges, the Miami Beach police have been investigating the possibility that he is responsible for the murder of Kersten Kischnick, his girlfriend. He spends his time talking and playing chess with his cellmate, Walter Smykowski. And today he's been talking about the events that led up to his incarceration. Their latest game has been a bit unusual, as Walter, who's typically less challenging, is now winning. During this game is where he has seemed to slip up the most. Dieter's trial is held exactly 2 months after his arrest on December 29, 1987. Two of the 3 gun charges are immediately dismissed by the judge, leaving the third to the jury to decide. They acquit Dieter of this final charge, and he is to be released from prison.
He's released the very next day, but his freedom doesn't last. Immediately after he leaves, the Miami Beach police arrest him for the murder of Kersten Kischnick.
Dieter is indicted with 1 count of first-degree murder and 1 count of unlawfully displaying a firearm, both in relation to Kersten's murder. It's over 6 months before Dieter sees trial for these charges. In this time, he's questioned repeatedly about the events of the night of the murder, but refuses to say anything more than he has already. He claims he doesn't recall anything else, and the fact that he is known to have been drinking that night could corroborate this fact. He's covered all his bases. After years of ups and downs with Kersten, he finally made his move. He was meticulous in his planning. The dinner, the drinks, the drive around town. The scene was perfect. In a city with an overflowing morgue and an understaffed and overworked police force, Dieter was certain poor Kersten would just appear to be another tragic victim of America's murder capital. In the closing moves of the match, Dieter has run out of options. Walter sees an opening and makes his move. Checkmate. The month-long trial begins on July 13th, 1988, and lasts until August 12th, 1988. During the trial, many people take the stand. The jury hears witness accounts and multiple people testify against Dieter. But the most damning testimony of all comes from none other than his cellmate, Walter Smykowski. Walter is approached during Dieter's original stay in the Metropolitan Correctional Center to act as an informant. He is asked to report back on anything Dieter may say in relation to Kersten Kischnick.
So Walter's testimony that Dieter was very pleased with the idea of becoming rich from the insurance payout as a result of Kersten's death is very damning evidence at the trial.
In no small part because of Walter's testimony, Dieter is found guilty for both charges. The main motive is financial gain, and because of this specific reason, the jury holds a vote to recommend the death penalty, with 9 out of 12 of the jurors in favor. Appeal after appeal, the results are always the same. After nearly a decade of court battles, in 1996, he does succeed in getting his death sentence vacated. However, freedom is not granted. This story is all too common, even today. Kersten, like countless other vulnerable people, finds herself with very few options and is disillusioned by Dieter's promise of safety.
By the evidence provided during the investigation, Kersten appears to be a young woman forced into a line of work she didn't want. When she tried to get out, the man just decided to find another way to use her for his own financial gain.
Kersten's struggle reflects the harsh realities of many trapped in these kinds of situations. She was a person, a lovely person, but Dieter only saw property. She was his, and she was not going to escape. Dieter used people like pieces in one of his chess matches, especially in his willingness to sacrifice a life if it would get him further ahead. But he's ultimately convicted because of his own hubris. He seems to have planned Kersten's demise almost a decade in advance. He kept his story straight with every police officer. But one slip-up, saying the wrong thing over a game of chess, has him sentenced to likely spend the rest of his life in prison.